Good afternoon. Welcome to our training camp. I will throw it out to questions.
If you have a question, please raise your hand away from the microphone.
Eric, lead us off.
Good to see you.
Same.
Naming Victor today, I mean, why was it important to do that today and make sure that everybody understood the leadership situation?
I think it needed to be clarified. When Coop and I met over the summer to discuss the next captain, it was pretty obvious to the both of us that it should be Victor for all sorts of reasons, and it ended up being obvious. At the same time, we have a number of players on our team that could assume that role, that have the qualities necessary to be a captain of an NHL team. Ryan McDonough, for example, has been a captain of an NHL team. So even though it was obvious to us, we didn't make, and this is an important decision. It's an important decision with regards to this team, like this current edition of the team, and it's an important decision within the context of the history of the franchise. So we didn't want to make this decision simply based on assumptions and assume anything. And I thought, as we do with all big decisions, most decisions, to be honest, we need to do our due diligence, even though it seemed obvious to us that it should be Victor. So I asked Coop to survey the players. And the thought being, A, we were likelier to get it right if the players had input, because the players know better than we do who the leaders on that team are and who should be the captain. 2, we would be setting up whoever the new captain was for success if it came from the players. And 3, I thought whoever ended up being captain, it would mean more to him knowing that he was selected by his teammates. So Coop surveyed the players, and when he reported back to me, there was a strong consensus. Actually, it was unanimous that it should be Victor, which made it really easy. We were all on the same page. Victor is an all-time great NHL player. If anything, he's underrated. With 6 straight Norris Trophy nominations, he's in very rarefied air in our league, in the history of our league. He's got a Norris, he's got a Conn Smythe, 2 Stanley Cups, 4 Cup finals, a World Championship. He's a very accomplished player. He's an all-time, he's one of the best players of his generation and one of the best defensemen in the history of this game. Count him on your fingers type level of player. But that's not what makes him the right guy to be the captain of this team. What makes him the right person to be the captain of this team is how special a person he is. Victor is humble, he is thoughtful, he's extremely competitive, he's proud, he's driven, he's ambitious, and he cares deeply about the success of this franchise. He cares about his teammates, and he cares about the Tampa Bay community. So, we've been able to witness him come into the league as a blue chip teenage prospect, trying to establish himself as one of the best players of his generation, one of the stars in our game, to today, he is the player that his teammates look to first to lead this team. And for all those reasons, that's why he's the best person to be the captain of the Lightning. Exciting day for him, exciting day for the franchise.
And just to kind of get the question out of the way, weird not to see Steven around here for a lot of people. How is it for you?
The reality is, after the 2 cup runs in 2021, we lost Blake Coleman, Yanni Gourde, Barclay Goodrow when we came back to camp the following year. The year after that, we lost Andre Palat, Ryan McDonough. The year after that, we lost Alex Killorn. This year, we're without Mikhail Sergachev and Steven Stamkos. It's just the reality of our industry. There's turnover. All those guys have contributed greatly to the team's success and a lot of winning over the years. Some of them, I go back to their college years or their junior years. Saw them, develop as players through our minor league system when I was general manager of our team in the minors. Some of them we brought in through big trades. They were all hard. At the same time, today, we're really about making the most of today. We have a really good team. We have the makeup of a really good team again this year. If we go goaltending, top 4, down the middle, 3 of the top wingers in the league, this has the makeup of a really good team. That's exciting. We need to make sure that we do everything we can to make the most of this season's opportunity, and that's where our focus is right now. Make sure we have a good day today. Make sure we win tomorrow. Make sure that we do everything we can throughout training camp to set ourselves up to put our best foot forward on October 11th against Carolina Hurricanes, so we can have a good start to our season and set ourselves up for success. That's where the focus is.
Julien, I think people in this room covering the Lightning, everyone can kind of pick a moment or a story of why Victor Hedman is the right person for this job. But for you, is there a moment or something in your mind that sticks out that speaks to his leadership abilities?
There, like you said, there would be many. First one that comes to mind, I think we saw over the years two players in particular who benefited from Victor's presence on the team, and those are Mikhail Sergachev and Eric Chernak. I think they came in as very young players into this league and were asked to play a big role, and having Victor as a big brother to them, and I throw Ryan McDonough in there as well, having those two guys there help Eric and Mikhail become the players they became, help them become the players they became as quickly as they became those players, so they could help us win championships and win a lot of hockey games. So that would be one. Like, I know those guys looked up to Victor and still do. That would be one. I think the 20 Cup run, Victor played like a man possessed, like he was not going to be denied, from the round robin games to him lifting the Conn Smythe. Like, he really was one of the guys driving that bus and making sure that whatever happened the year before was not going to happen again. And then the following year, actually, I thought the first half of the year, that was a 56-game season. The first half of that year, I thought that's probably the best he's ever played. I remember we're somewhere, and the media came to me, and national media, and mentioned how good he was playing, and he was on his way to winning a Norris. And I didn't want to overstate it, but in my mind, he was in the running for the Hart. Like, he was playing amazing. And then he hurt his knee, injured his meniscus, didn't miss a game, finished the year, finished the next 2 months of the regular season, and then 2 months of playoffs to help us win another cup. Those are all examples of the type of character that he has and why he's the perfect guy to be our captain.
Julien, we were asking Braden Point earlier about, losing or not being without Stamkos, and he said that he's one of the guys that would make the Lightning the Lightning. And I think you can probably say the same about Victor. I guess, could you just kind of expand on that? What about Victor makes him a part of maybe the fabric of this organization, of the history, the winning ways and the team that you ultimately want to have on the ice moving forward?
I think all of that is towards culture, our culture, and the contribution that Victor and Steven made to establishing that culture. I thought all along those two guys in particular made sure that we were professional at all times, that we represented excellence with humility, that we treated people with respect. So whoever came into our organization as a new player, a new member, kind of fell in line with that, being a respectful, humble, work your butt off every day, do the best you can, help the team win culture that we have here.
Julien, just without Stamkos now in the fold, with the power play, do you have any sort of ideas of how you guys are going to address that spot, or throughout camp, are you just going to trial some things out and figure it out as you go?
It's more of a question for the coaches. It's something we've discussed throughout the summer at various times with Jeff Halpern, who oversees our power play, with some of the players that usually play on the power play, with Coop. So as is the case every year, there's some turnover, there's new players, there's new chemistry that needs to be established. The sooner we can all get on the same page, I think off the ice we're all on the same page, but getting on the same page on the ice, getting those reps together so we can start reading off of each other, anticipating what everyone else is going to do, the better off we're going to be. So that's the focus right now, is to make sure that we get on the same page as quickly as possible and put the right guys in the right spots for us to be successful.
As usual, there's been a tremendous amount of movement around the league. Players changing teams all over the place. What's your impression of what you've seen, how the teams look, how the Lightning look within the division, and just your general overview of what happened in the summer around the league?
That's kind of the reality now. There's turnover every year. The teams that have success, their players price themselves out and end up often leaving, which means they tend to go to teams that are on the way up. It kind of recalibrates the league a little bit, the strengths of each team, the balance of power, if you will, within the league. If we look at our division for a number of years now, it's been like the same 4 teams have been making the playoffs, but the other 4 have been coming every year. They're they're chipping away at the difference, and I think we see a lot of that again this summer. If I look at our team, like, we did a lot of good things last year. Our second half of the season was excellent. It was the third best in the league. And I still see a lot of areas where we can be better, and I expect us to be better this year, and I think we have the makeup to be better this year. It's no secret we need to be better at keeping the puck out of our net. That's what it is. And it wasn't shorthanded last season because we had a top 5 PK. 5-on-5 need to do a better job keeping the puck out of our net, and I think the makeup of the team we have right now, with Ryan McDonough coming back, J.J. Moser coming in, Jake Gensel coming in, like of our regular penalty killers, Tyler Mott's the only one who's left, but we've brought in Zemgus Girgensson who can kill penalties. We have other guys who can kill penalties, Mitch Chaffee, Mikey Isimont. We have a lot of options for the coaches. So at the end of the day, our secret to our success, if we're going to be successful this year, is how good a job we do at keeping the puck out of our net.
Is there anybody not able to start training camp?
Mikey Isimont is not taking part in camp. He is dealing with a lower body injury. I don't expect him to be a camp participant at all. We expect him to kind of get back practicing on a regular basis around the end of training camp, and expect him to be hopefully in the lineup mid-October. Luke Glendening is also injured, so he's a participant, but he's probably a red jersey participant, non-contact participant. We are hopeful he'll be ready for the season opener. If he isn't, it'll be a question of days probably at that point before he's ready to play NHL games. And then we have, Jack Finley had injury at the end of last season before the end of Syracuse's season, so he is not expected back until December. Gabriel Dumont had surgery last season. During the course of the season, he's not expected back until December. Daniel Walcott had off-season surgery after the playoff run for Syracuse. He's expected back around December 1, plus minus a week. And Gabriel Fortier also had off-season surgery, and he's expected back again around December 1, plus minus a week.
It's a long list.
Long list.
Back to the defensive play, obviously the numbers weren't where you wanted them. You just kind of sort of addressed them. Are there other ways other than the personnel you brought in to address those numbers? Is it schemes? Is it just simply just play better?
I think it's a combination of factors. Last season, at different points, it was different things. And then when we were able to put it together, we were a really good team, and we won a lot of games on a consistent basis. It's just a matter of doing that on a more consistent basis.
Julien, you just noted that the Lightning were one of the best teams in the NHL during the second half, yet you still didn't get your playoff spot confirmed until clinched until early April to make up for what was a very poor first half for lots of reasons. But I would imagine, and I would ask you in your time here, this has been a team that's been able to just, hey, we'll get there. They knew they were good. But to start this year, I would imagine it's a different mindset that's needed right from the outset. Everybody can talk about we want to get off to a good start, but I would imagine the mindset in your time here is probably the urgency level's probably close to its highest.
It should be every year. I have every reason to believe that it is this year. Obviously, if you have a good start, you're setting yourself up for you to have a good season. It changes how you view yourself, how your opponents view yourself, how decisions are made, how much you're willing to invest in that current edition of the team. That's why it's so important to have a good start to our season. And from year to year, for various reasons, there's randomness. Like, we had 98 points the last 2 years. 1 year we were third in our division with 98 points. 1 year we were fourth in our division with 98 points. Other years we had over 100 points to finish third in our division. Every year's a little different. What we do know is we need to have a good start. We need to be ready for October 11th and be in a position to put our best foot forward from the get-go. Munch points, bank points, put points in the bank early.
Julien, one of the big success for the Lightning over the last couple of years that's helped them is the young guys that have stepped up, like Ross Colton, Lilleberg. You just had the rookie showcase now, and now training camp getting ready to go. Who are some of the young players that you look to maybe make an impact this year?
Well, Emil Lilleberg finished a year with us, and he's going to be in a position to fight for a roster spot from the get-go. But we have a number, like going into prospect camp last week as management, we were looking, this is the deepest group of guys that have a shot we've had in a long time for all sorts of reasons. Guys that, obviously we haven't had a lot of draft picks, especially not a lot of high draft picks, but we get Connor Geekie, who's a former first-round pick. We add him to our group. We get Milo Rollins and Gabriel Sturck, two players that weren't drafted, but we see a lot of potential in them. We add them into our group. Emil Lilleberg was one of those players that we didn't draft. He was a free agent. We signed him, and within 6 months, he's helping us win games at the NHL level. So I can't tell you which player is going to make it, but I can tell you we have a deeper crop of players that have a shot than we've had in a long time.
Julien, you mentioned Connor Geekie, and I know obviously you guys have thought a lot about him, because you traded for him, right? But I mean, how, in your guys' mind, how far off is he, especially given some of these maybe holes that you might have to fill due to injuries early on in the season, to start the season?
Well, I'd start by saying we really like his potential, like in terms of ability to play big minutes at the NHL level. We haven't had a prospect with his pedigree in a long time. And everything we've learned from him since we acquired him in late June, from development camp to seeing him last week in the showcase, has just reinforced that we have a blue chip prospect in Connor Geekie. How long it's going to take him, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to bet on that. But we really like the makeup. We really like the tool set, the size, the strength, the ability to carry the puck, protect the puck, shoot the puck, make plays, the meanness, pick up pucks, steal pucks. Like he showed a lot of promise in those games. Now, those are prospect games. This, in the next couple of weeks here, he's going to get a chance to play preseason games. That's a next level of competition. Let's see how he does there, and we'll take it from there.
Vasti said a little earlier on in the day that he felt like he was kind of walking into a completely different team. How much of this training camp do you think will be just getting these guys, new and old, acclimated to one another?
I think it's a big part of it, and that's why we've built in some team bonding opportunities for the guys to get to connect as people, not just as teammates. The guys actually on their own last week I think they had a golf outing and a dinner, maybe 2 dinners, where pretty much the whole team gathered together and the wives got together. So it's something that we're cognizant of, and we know it's important in terms of building the chemistry that usually follows suit on the ice and can lead to good success. Thank you.